The sponge grows in the Gulf of Mexico because it's most plentiful with plankton in the water, which filters through the sponge and gives it that natural immunity against mold and bacteria.
There's several types of different grades of sponges that are harvested around the world. The best quality sponges that we get out here are the best sponges in the world. There's a lot of processing work that goes into the production of sponges before you buy it at these stores down here in Tarpon Springs. Conventionally, a boat like the one behind me would hold a crew of 6 men, with 2 of those men being divers. So in the early days, it would run through families, and you would see the sons and the uncles and so forth really owning the boats and running the boats. The early settlers to Tarpon came from the 12 islands of Greece, the Dodecanese Islands. The reason they moved here is a gentleman by the name of John Cheney came into this area who was an importer-exporter and made an assumption that there were sponges out here in the Gulf of Mexico. The 12 islands of Greece had already been sponge diving for 1,000 years, so he contacted an associate of his by the name of John Turcotte, who brought the early Greeks here from the 12 islands of Greece. The name of the main street here is called Dodecanese Boulevard. The suit is made out of 2 layers of canvas, 1 layer of rubber. It's watertight as well as skin tight. But once he puts the suit on, the head deckhand will then start putting on the weights of the suit, starting with the shoes weighing 12 pounds apiece. The brass on his shoulders that the helmet can actually weigh 22 pounds, and the helmet itself weighing 38 pounds. Every time this man goes to work in a sponge diving suit, his suit weighs 172 pounds.
My name is Robin Sanger, and I'm an artist here in Tarpon Springs, Florida. I've been doing this for a long time, so I have a lot of art on display all around the area, but also around the United States and actually around the world. My favorite kind of art is one that is very personal with symbols, creating something really meaningful for people. Tarpon Springs is a unique energy here. The culture, the Greek culture, of course, but also the arts, the history. The trees, the shoreline. We're the oldest community in Pinellas County. We have the most shoreline, we have tons of parks. So part of my inspiration I draw from nature, from looking at this beautiful area that we live in, and it's absolutely stellar. It's hard to not live in a place as long as I've lived here and not have it affect you, affect your psyche and your spirit and your energy. My studio is actually in a sponge warehouse that was built around the turn of the century. So when I moved into the studio, I found all kinds of sponge paraphernalia in the attic. I found the big sponge baskets and bags of sponges. So of course I had to mess around with the sponges. I had to play with them and paint with them, and also sent them to artists I know who are interested in decorative techniques.
We do have a lot of artists that come in here, and that's because we are the sponge capital of the world. If you see a lot of our buildings out on our street, those have been done by a lot of sponge, and they contribute towards the atmosphere in our village. The best to paint with, it depends what texture you want. A lot of people use these for doing their clouds and their trees and their grasses. This is for faux painting because it's a harder texture than your yellow sponge or than your wool sponge, because this is the durable, luxurious bathing sponge.